We're actually in the capitalist oriented economic system or a free market economic system where the rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer. We are not saying that the poor people cannot be rich. Of course, if you find yourself in the category of the middle class or the lower class, you can still become very, very rich. You can still become very, very wealthy if you actually follow what I'm going to talk about in this video. Being poor is not a cause. It does not mean that you cannot survive in this economic system that is characterized by high inflationary rates. It means that there are some certain things that you need to put into place for you to actually become rich and find yourself in the higher level of social stratification. The majority actually work hard to make money. That is, the majority actually constitutes the middle class and the lower class. They toil night and day to make money. But for the rich, money works for them. You ask me the question, how does money actually works for the rich? I'm going to show you in this video. You can actually make money. You can actually be rich. You can actually be financially independent even when you are sleeping. That is, even when you are sleeping, your money can still be working for you. The rich relies on money to work for them, not them working for money, because they actually have a secret, which is what I call investment. When they invest their money, money is actually working for them. Unlike the majority that are actually toiling night and day to work for money. And unfortunately, when the money actually comes, they spend the money. They earn the money, they spend the money. This is what I call the majority mindset. Earn the money, spend the money. But there is what I call the minority mindset, where you earn the money and invest the money. Then later on, the money now can be able to afford you whatever you want in life. That is, the money is actually working for you and generating interest for you. The majority of people will complain that the system is actually unfair to them. That is, the free market economic system or capitalism is meant to favor the rich only. This is not true. The system can also favor you when you have what I call financial education. Financial education will put you in a position to know that when you earn the money, you don't need to spend all the money. That you need to systemize your money into three parts in what I call spending, saving, and investment. When you earn the money, you don't spend the money. You don't need a lot of money to actually become rich. You don't need a lot of money to start investing today. Don't forget an adage that says that a little drop of water will make a mighty ocean. You don't need a lot of money for your money to start working for you. You can start small. That is, when you start small and you are actually consistent and you are doing it on a regular basis, you are going to realize one thing in the power of what I call compound interest. Over time, your money will compound, and after a decade of sacrifice, you can bet that you are going to be very wealthy at the end of the day, because there are actually two types of money. When you talk about money, everybody wants money, but a lot of us fail to understand that there are two types of money. Number one is what I call active money, and number two is what I call passive money. What do I mean by an active money? You see, some of us are actually salary earners. We earn what I call salary. When you are paid at the end of the month in form of a salary, you are earning what I call an active money. In this situation, you are paid based on the service you have actually rendered. That is an active money. But when you're talking about a passive money simply means that when you actually send your money out there to work for you, what you are doing here is what I call passive money. Under passive money, your money is working for you while you are sleeping. Your money is working for you while you are on vacation. Your money is working for you even when you are not there. That kind of a money is what I call passive money. Active money is when you are being paid for the service you have rendered in form of a salary. Then passive is when your money is actually working for you. That is, even when you are not working, your money can be working for you. Can you see that? So when you are sleeping, when you are on vacation, when you are not even working for you, your money can actually work for you. And that is the secret of the wealthy class or the rich class. When they are not working, their money is working for them. That is, they have actually invested their money, and even when they are not there, that money is working really, very hard for them. You need to understand this secret. A lot of us actually buy or spend our money on what I call liabilities. You see, liabilities are things that can actually take money away from your pocket. Liabilities are things that can actually create a hole in your pocket. Liabilities are things that can actually make you to lose some large chunk of your money. And that is what majority of the people are always after. They always want to seek for what I call validation. They always want people to see them as being rich. They always want people to see them as being comfortable. But for the rich, they don't seek for validation. They buy what I call assets. Assets create wealth, but liabilities will create a hole in your pocket. So instead of buying things that can actually create a hole in your pocket, why don't you put your money into things that can make you wealthy and can make you very, very rich? You need to invest more. You need to put more money on assets and not liabilities. I'm not saying you should not buy liabilities, because an example of a liability is a car. But when you're buying a car, you do not necessarily need to buy an expensive car or a car that you spend all your life earning, all your hard-earned money on servicing and repair. You can buy a car that is moderate enough that you can easily maintain without spending a lot of money. So the question is, will you buy liability or you buy asset? The answer is just to answer. So a lot of people today buy more of liabilities. And when you're talking about liabilities, a lot of things are liabilities, like electronics. And at the end of the day, they end up forming or occupying space in our houses because we don't usually use most of them. They create the space, they occupy space, and at the end of the day, they also create a hole in our pockets. The educational system will not teach you about this, even when you have actually gone to school from secondary, tertiary institutions, your masters, your BSc, your PhD, or you become a professor. The school will not teach you how to make money. You can learn all these things through your financial education, and that's why I am bringing this video to you, because this is actually 2026, and together we should all be making money. In this economic system, it is not easy to make money. So every money you make must be justified or accounted for. That is, you must spend that money prudently and judiciously. You must be intentional with your money. You must be articulate with your money. I'm not saying here that you should not take care of your health, you should not take care of yourself, or you should not buy things for yourself. But instead of spending all that money on liabilities and also borrowing money at the end of the day, you can simply systemize that money into spending, into savings, and into investment, because your investment over time will buy you those things that you actually needed. So avoid buying things that will make you lose money. So the question is, are you actually investing your money or buying things like what I call a seed, or you are buying what I call a banana? Now, a seed will germinate and make, bring out fruit at the end of the day. But for a banana does not have a seed, or it cannot actually germinate. So when you eat a banana cannot germinate or create wealth, but a seed will create wealth. So are you spending more on seed, or you are spending more on banana? The majority of people that we have in our society now, they spend more money on bananas as opposed to spending money on the seed that can create more wealth for them. So the minority mindset is to spend money on the seed to create or generate more wealth. But for the majority mindset, the mindset is actually to buy banana and eat it up without generating any form of returns or profit at the end of the day. The majority mindset is to make money and buy things. That is, you earn the money, you spend the money. Then the minority mindset is to make money and buy assets, and that asset will generate interest or profit at the end of the day in form of what I call a compounded interest. The reason why I say compound interest is that after investing for a long period of time through what I call a decade of sacrifice, you are going to realize that your money is going to compound. That is, for example, if you have actually invested 20 million over a period of time, for example 10 years, you are going to earn about 40 million or 38 million naira. That's what I call the power of a compound. But if you have a majority mindset, it means that you are buying, you are earning the money, and you are also spending the money. You see, the seed that we're talking about here can be in form of stocks, can be in form of real estate, and can be in form of a bond investment. Now, what do I mean by stocks? You can actually buy stocks where you can be rest assured that you're going to make a lot of profit at the end of the day, where you have a dividend return of about 10% turnover every year. That is, you have profit in two places now. You can decide to sell that stock to somebody else and make money, or you can decide to leave that stock and earn in form of a dividend. Do you see now? So stocks can actually generate you up to 10% return on investment per annum. Then you can also invest into what I call real estate, where you actually have access or buy landed properties and you decide to rent it out to people out there. When you rent it out, you make money. That is real estate. Then bond investment is when you buy, you borrow money to the government or private organizations where they pay you back in form of a profit or interest. So what you are doing here is what I call a bond investment. So your seed can be in the area of stocks, your seed can be in the area of real estate, and your seed can also be in the area of a bond investment. I'm still going to talk about all this as we go deeper in our videos and discussion. The more you invest, the more you buy more asset, the more money you make. You need to understand that. So asset is something that you need to continuously, consistently, judiciously, invest over and over and over. The more you invest, the more your money will work for you. So this 2026, if you want to become wealthy, if you want to be financially independent, if you want to have what I call financial freedom, then it is time to start investing. While you are sleeping, while you're on vacation, while you are not working, your money is working for you. So the more money you invest, the more interest you make. So you could be sleeping this year, depending on how much you have actually invested. If you have actually invested for a period of 5 or 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, you can simply retire this year in 2026 and your money is working for you. You can retire with bliss. You need to understand one thing, that old age is very, very, very expensive, because the more you are getting old, the more money you spend on your health. So if you want to live a life full of bliss, if you want to live a peaceful life, if you want to live a life where you have financial independence, you have financial freedom, then it is time for you to start investing your money. So it depends on the class you actually want to become or belong to now. Do you want to belong to the minority mindset or the majority mindset? Don't forget, the minority mindset earns the money, buy assets, and later over time, the asset begins to generate for them and buy things that they actually want. But for the majority mindset, they earn the money and spend the money to buy things or seek for what I call validation from family and friends to make them look as if they are rich, but they are not actually rich. So the decision is actually yours this year in 2026. Do you want to belong to the class of the rich or wealthy class in society, or you still want to belong to the majority that are still struggling financially in 2026? I hope you have actually gained something in this video. If you have actually gained something in this video, now is the time for you to follow my page and share my video and give your comment and like this video. So I see you next time. Thank you so much.